Hello from Universal Orlando. I am back at Universal specifically to experience the nighttime entertainment of both Universal Studios and over at Islands of Adventure. I'm probably going to start my night over at Islands to check out Seuss Landing and Hogsmeade, and then end my night over here to check out the Cinematic Celebration. I'm super excited to see the parks at night. I haven't done that in quite a while, specifically and intentionally staying all the way through the end of the night, so that's what I'm going to do tonight. I'm back on my G7X Mark II to get a little bit better of a nighttime ambient feel of the parks tonight. So I'm heading over to Islands, but on my way over there, I'm gonna stop by Voodoo Doughnut. I'm pretty excited to use my G7X again because it's just very good in low light comparatively to my Canon M50. The lens that I got for the Canon M50 to be able to use it at night, I ended up returning because it was just not great in terms of the focal length and then the stability of it. So I'm back on the G7X Mark II for night, at least for right now, until I can figure it out with my Canon M50. So I want to stop by Voodoo Doughnut because allegedly they have a gingerbread donut in there that I'm very, very curious to try. And that is the donut that I'm talking about right there on the right. That is the Holiday Ornament donut, which is gingerbread cheesecake. And then the one on the left, that is the Snowman donut, which is, I believe, white mocha dipped in vanilla icing. And you can either get that as the snowman head or the entire body as part of a set. Okay, so I came up to the second level by the Cinemark, and I did indeed get that gingerbread donuts. And look at this. Doesn't this look adorable? It's a little holiday ornaments with gingerbread inside. Okay. I'm excited. I hyped this up kind of a lot. Sorry about all the flashing lights, but it is a party. So that is gingerbread filling in there. I've pretty much eaten half of the donut already because it is one of my favorite donuts that I've ever gotten at Voodoo Doughnut. Having to play around with the autofocus on this camera a little bit because I just got this camera back. I broke this camera kind of a while ago by dropping it out of a locker here at Universal, and I had to send it off to get a button fixed, and now it works again, so that's good. Okay, so I just finished up my donut. Now I'm heading back over to Islands of Adventure. This is the bridge that you head underneath when you head through, so you walk over to the resorts. It's pretty busy right now because it's a little bit after 6 o'clock, which is when parking becomes free. There's still a pretty good amount of people that are heading out of the park, but there are just as many people that are heading into the park, it seems, as well. It's interesting because I would normally be leaving right around this time, one of the parks, to head back home. I have not been to the parks with the intention to stay this late in a very, very long time, so I'm pretty excited. All right, and a pretty long wait at the turnstiles later. I am inside of Islands of Adventure, and I'm already appreciating all of the Christmas decor quite a lot more than I did during the daytime. This is going to be a great evening. All right, so my first stop tonight is going to be heading through Seuss Landing. Look how beautiful this is at night with these massive trees on either side of the entrance. There are Who's right over here to welcome us into Seuss Landing. All right, I'm going to take a walk past the Onceler's house just to take in all of the beautiful decorations over here. At night, a lot of the Who's have been hanging around here during the daytime, so to be able to walk through here at night is really cool. This is the main thoroughfare of Whoville over here, so this is where the majority of decorations are going to be. Wow, this camera's doing a great job at night. I forgot how crisp and clear it was. I'm excited to head over towards Hogsmeade. I don't think the decorations over there are going to be anything really incredible because they're not doing the nighttime lights at Hogwarts Castle, but I think they are still doing projections, and then the entirety of Hogsmeade is still decorated as usual, so that should be really cool to see. Just look how beautiful it is in Seuss Landing right now. This is one of my favorite places to be, and one of my favorite times of the year, and I am so happy that they went all out in terms of decorating. They could have really diluted this and just done the bare minimum, but they did not, and I really, really appreciate that. One last look down the lane of Seuss Landing before heading off to the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. Right back there you can also kind of see the Velocicoaster track, which I'm a little bit sad about because a couple days ago they did test it right after I left the park. So one of these days I'll be back and I'll see Velocicoaster in action. Okay, so I made it over to Hogsmeade, and look how gorgeous it is at night with all of the Christmas lights and garland up and down the streets. So Hagrid's is currently a virtual line only, and I've been trying to get a virtual pass, but there are no more available currently, which is okay because I did just write it, and I am really here to enjoy the nighttime holiday ambience of the parks. If I had tried to record this with the lens that I currently have on my other camera, would have made the video incredibly fuzzy because of the very, very high ISO. So I'm just very happy that I was able to come back and check this out at night. Hopefully not for the last time. The garland at the Quidditch shop is probably my favorites in the land because of all of these snitches in the garland. Such a really, really cool detail there. But I'm coming around the corner now, and there is Hogwarts Castle. There's no projection show, unfortunately, this year, but they are projecting snow onto the castle. And there it is, Hogwarts Castle, lit up for Christmas with projections of snow and garland on the castle and on the mountain itself. I'm really happy about this. I understand that they could not do the nighttime lights this year, but this is still a pretty happy medium for me. And now I'm heading into Jurassic Park. The torches are lit, Hogwarts Castle is in the background. This is gonna be exciting. I forgot how dark Jurassic Park was at night. Okay, it's not as dark as I anticipated it being because pretty much the entire Velocicoaster project is very much so illuminated. That's cool. Man, this would be so cool to see testing at night. Well, now it is incredibly dark over here across from River Adventure, but I'm imagining the lighting package on this coaster is going to be phenomenal. I am super excited to see what they do in terms of lighting this up at night. And just the experience and what it's going to be like riding this at night. It's going to be awesome. Here comes a Skull Island Reign of Kong bus heading into the temple. I forgot how absolutely beautiful this was at night. And then when the bus goes inside the temple and then it closes up, that is a beautiful moment. Deadly Dread Ripsaw Falls is another beautiful ride to ride at night because of the lighting package, which I have done before. I've ridden pretty much all of these at night before, but I haven't in a long time because of the park hours and because of daylight saving time. So this is exciting to see again. You know what, I take that back. I don't think I have ridden any of these at night. I have been on a Deadly Do rides at dusk before, but not at night. And I definitely have not been on Popeye and Bluto's at night before, but it does look very beautifully lit. This was more so supposed to be about the Christmas lighting in both parks, but the nighttime ambience in general is just something that makes me so happy, honestly. And it's just so well done in Islands of Adventure in particular. Alright, so I made it to Marvel Superhero Island, and I do not see any Christmas decorations here. There are probably some decorations inside the gift shops, but as far as in the street on the lampposts, I don't see any. Okay, so I'm about to head over to Universal Studios Florida to see what the decorations look like over there. A nighttime launch of the Incredible Hulk never gets old. Okay, so the parks both close in about 2 hours, and the cinematic celebrations in about 1 hour and 45 minutes. So I'm gonna try to see that. I don't think I'm gonna be inside Central Park to see that because they have only a certain amount of spots. They have limited availability to watch that. I don't want to take up an entire spot all to myself when there's a family that probably hasn't seen it. So I'll try to watch that from a different area, but I don't know yet. One thing I miss about the other camera is the wide angle aspect of it. I'm holding my hand as far away from myself as I can, and I can still barely fit the entirety of my torso up to my head in the frame, so I missed that. Alright, I made it back over to Universal Studios Florida, which is where I started the video. I have about 2 hours, like I said, to enjoy the park before it closes, but that should be more than enough time to really absorb the Christmas ambience that this park offers up at night, so I'm excited. Alright, I made it inside Universal Studios. I'm trying to decide which direction to go. I think I want to end up over by the tree, so I think I'm going to head down towards Hollywood Boulevard. There are a bunch of Christmas lights right over there that I really wanted to see once it actually got dark here, and then with this camera would be really cool. And this is cool, there's some stilt walkers out here. And here it is, Hollywood Boulevard, lit up for Christmas. The lampposts have decorations on them as well as Santa hats all the way up top. They have Christmas lights wrapped around the palm trees. There is garland all along the buildings and wreaths and ribbons. this really makes me just enjoy the season even more. It's so beautifully decorated here. So Central Park is right up here, and that's where everybody is getting ready for the cinematic celebration in about an hour and a half, which again I'm gonna try to come back for or find a different spot to be able to watch it from. So I'm gonna head over to New York and then just try to find a way to spend, I don't know, an hour and a half before that show starts. Okay, so before I head over to New York, I'm actually gonna head back over to Diagon Alley because that is very beautifully decorated and I almost forgot about it. And this is Central Park over here, and people are starting to congregate for the cinematic celebration. Springfield is not decorated for Christmas, which is kind of a missed opportunity. This would look really neat decorated for Christmas, I think. Okay, so I wanted to come over by the water to see the lights over at Diagon Alley. And then right over here, there's Kang and Kodos, which is operating because I'm here on a weekend. Like, come look at these lights. And there it is, Diagon Alley, lit up at night. You can see almost a mirrored reflection in the lagoon. That is just beautiful, and I'm so excited to make my way over there. And here I am over in London, about to head inside Diagon Alley, but I definitely want to appreciate the outside facade of London because it is just beautifully decorated. And something that I always thought was interesting is how they've never decorated number 12 Grimmauld Place, which makes sense because it is the Black residence. It is the headquarters for the Order of the Phoenix, and you can tell that it's this one because of the discoloration between this one and the buildings next to it, but it is not decorated for Christmas, presuming that it wouldn't be in the books either. But okay, now I'm heading inside Diagon Alley. Alright, I made it through the brick wall and into Diagon Alley. I can hear Celestina Warbeck performing right now, so I'm gonna run around the corner and see if I can catch a song from her, but it is beautiful in here. Final song by Celestina Warbeck, and it is now snowing. And there they go. Well, that was cool. Look at this. The decorations are a little bit more subtle over here by Celestina's stage. And over by the hopping pot where you can get some butterbeer. So I'm gonna head back down the main strip and see what the decorations look like over there. Weasley's Wizard Weezes is decorated with garland, as are most of the stores up and down Diagon Alley. This one has ribbon intertwined in it. This one looks like it has pine cones. The next one has berries. Ollivanders looks like it has some sort of wood. So that's pretty cool. A lot of the garland is thematic to the actual store that it's on, so that's pretty neat, similarly to Hogsmeade. The majority of garland is pretty generic, but a lot of the stores do have the themed garland, which I absolutely do appreciate. It's a pretty cool detail, and I'm very glad that they did this pretty similarly, if not identical to how they did it last year, which was fantastic. The garland over here is pretty whimsical in the ornaments and artifacts that they've distributed through them. It sounds like the dragon's about to breathe fire, and I have the perfect shot lined up. Awesome. Okay, I think it's about time to go ahead and head out of Diagon Alley. So right now over here they're telling the tales of Beetle the Bard. I don't know, he may have been bald too, but that's what they're doing over there. I only have about 45 minutes until the show starts over on the lagoon, the cinematic celebration, and I want to make it over to New York before that, so that's why I'm heading out now. But I definitely want to spend a lot more time in here during the holiday season. I always say it's one of my favorite places to be, but you know it is. Heading over to New York is one of my favorite places to take a picture around Christmas time, which are these Christmas trees pretty much right next to King's Cross Station. You see that just because they're so beautifully and warmly lit. Isn't this nice? Okay, this is pretty cool right here. There's the lighthouse over at Islands of Adventure. So I made it over to New York. And what I think is incredibly interesting is that yesterday Fast and Furious Supercharged reopened. This closed a while ago, as did a few other rides around both parks, but it reopened and everybody was super surprised, but also happy, maybe, some of them. When it comes to Christmas decorations, this is probably my favorite area in both parks, just for the nostalgia factor. I really, really love both Harry Potter worlds, but whenever I think of Universal Christmas, it is always going to be New York. Diagon Alley is currently closed because of the cinematic celebration. I'll be coming back down this street in a little bit, but this is where you'd go to congregate for the cinematic celebration. Over here it says it's the exit, but I'm going to go over here to check out the tree. See, even Revenge of the Mummy gets Christmas decorations, as does Macy's. There's the tribute store. And then here's the Christmas tree, which is a little bit more subtly lit than I remember, but it's still very, very beautiful. And then I'm also next to Gramercy Park, which is right over here. There's a bunch of garland and ribbons, and then the lampposts have Santa hats on them. Okay, now I'm back turning down this road that the Blues Brothers perform on. I know that this has a name, or I presume that it does. I don't know the name, and I would love to know the name because this is one of my, wow, I just sound like a broken record. This is one of my favorite places in all of Universal, but it really is. This specific street is one of my absolute favorite places in all of Universal. Okay, so I think I pretty much walked around and showed off all of the areas that have Christmas decorations, and then some areas that I just thought were really beautifully lit, because I really haven't gotten to enjoy the parks at night in a while. But I have about 20 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes until the cinematic celebration starts, so I can maybe go try to find a spot for that. But I am tired. I've been walking around theme parks quite a lot recently, and I've been having a great time, but you know what? My feet hurt. Okay, so I obviously did not show off every corner of Christmas decorations around the park, but I tried to show the majority of them. This is one of my favorite spots because this is where Brendan and I have taken pictures before, and it just kind of has that nostalgic place in my heart. So I need to try to find a spot where I can hopefully kind of get out of pretty quickly, because I'd like to get home kind of reasonably earlier tonight than I would if I actually like sat and watched the show. Alright, so I found a spot over by Optimus Prime by the water, so I can hopefully get back to the car quickly. The lights just turned off because the show starts in 5 minutes, but I'm excited to see this. I've not seen it in a very long time. I don't think I'm going to film the majority of it. Maybe the pyrotechnics, if they're still doing the fireworks. That'll be super cool to see. It is getting darker and darker. Let's watch the show. Alright, so the show is now over. I'm heading to the garage as fast as possible to try to beat the majority of the crowd back there, because everybody is leaving the park. Both parks are officially now closed for the night. And here it is, the crowd exiting the park after closing. It was a busy day today, but I'm glad that I made a trip out to Universal on the weekends just to see what it was like and to see what I haven't seen in a while. Alright, well I thought I'd go and end the video near where I started it, right outside the arches here. So I had a great time at Universal today. I'm glad that I brought my G7X to experience the nighttime ambience of the parks, which is what I've been talking about for a very long time. I got to see all of the Christmas decorations over at Islands of Adventure, and at Universal I get to see the cinematic celebration, which is something that I've been wanting to see for a super long time. The only thing about that was uncomfortable is that people did not really social distance, at least in my vicinity. I was right there by the water, I was standing on my little mark, and then as soon as the show started, there was just a lot of people, and there were just people right next to me and right behind me, right back here. But it's a nighttime spectacular, I guess, so it's going to be really hard to social distance for that. But other than that, the show is incredible. I had a great day at Universal and Islands today, and there's a massive crowd heading back to the garage, which means it's going to be a pretty long time before I am probably able to get out of the parking lot and then head home. But thank you for hanging out with me. I will see you soon. Have a good day, and goodbye.